comparison of two areas. Subtraction is in one way cutting off or taking away. Subtraction is also taking two shapes or people or measurements and subtracting them. This tells you the difference between them in terms of some form of measurement. What we're going to do is the difference between two things in terms of area. We need an area of some shape that is 13. So what shape would you like to create that has an area of 13? Well, we're going to do a rectangle because it's easier to do than a square. So first we'll have an area of 13, and it can be 13 by 1. We can say that the area is base, which is 13, times height, which is 1. This area is 13 because 13 times 1 equals 13. It can be in any unit, so it can be in inches, toes, feet, whatever you'd like to use. We learned in our story problem that this is in inches, though. Our story problem says this: Lillian's poster board had an area of 13 square inches. Braxton's poster board had an area of 7 square inches. How much larger is Lillian's poster board than Braxton's poster board? So now we have to compare this to Braxton's poster board, which has an area of 7 square inches. You can draw it either inside the shape or right next to it. We have to compare what we just found to Braxton's poster board. So we have to compare Lillian's to Braxton's, which has an area of 7 inches. So what I am doing to answer this word problem is this. I'm finding out how much larger one is than the other. So I will take 13 minus 7 and get 6, meaning that this area, the first one, 13, is 6 inches larger compared to this area on the bottom, which was 7. So this problem is not asking us to take away in terms of subtraction. It's instead asking us to compare two sizes of area. Next, I will explain how I would teach this to a first or second grade student. To explain this problem to a first or second grade student, first begin like this. Comparison is one type of subtraction. Comparison means that we're going to take two things and we're going to compare them. We're going to see how they differ. We're going to see what the difference is between them. These two things could be anything. They could be colors, they could be shoes, they could be weights, but we're going to use area. We're going to compare two areas. To compare areas, we need to find out how big the first area is. To find out the area of the rectangle, what you do is you take the base multiplied by the height. So this is 13 inches multiplied by 1 inch, which is 13 inches squared. And the other one is 7 inches times 1 inch, which is 7 inches squared. What does inches squared mean? It means that if we make a square, if I cut it out with construction paper, it's 1 inch by 1 inch. So how many squares will fit perfectly into that shape? That's finding area. This one down here is 7 times 1, or 7 inches multiplied by 1 inch, which means 7 inches squared. So we're taking 13 minus 7. How do you do that? Well, you can count off. Count off means that we start with the largest value that we are comparing. So that's this one. And we count off by 7. If that's too hard, we can try something different. We can take away 3 first. So we can do 13 minus 3 because that's something that we can even do in our head. So 13 minus 3. We know that that is 10. So I'm going to take 10 and I'm going to count off what's now left. So there are 4 left now. So we can do 10 what we have minus what we have left. Which we know 10 minus 4 is 6. So there are 6 left. The bigger rectangle is 6 inches squared, larger than the smaller rectangle. So when you look at this in our story problem, we know that Lillian's poster board is 6 inches squared larger than Braxton's poster board.